Forsaken is a really popular Roblox game, and it is one of, if not the only top game on Roblox to have collabs, and a lot of them at that. In fact, as of now, Forsaken has collabed with 9 different games, with a total of 18 skins to obtain. Now, are these collabs good? No. You read the title, and if you know, oh god, you know. Many collab skins are infamous for being long, grindy, unfair, and pretty much any other synonym for long. Some of which requiring you to complete the entirety of the main campaign on the hardest difficulty to making you complete one of the hardest challenges the game has ever faced, which is impossible to do solo when most people attending the event will be playing it for the first time, and on top of that it was time limited. But those are most talked about for a reason, and there is a good deal of collabs that are not even that bad, and in some cases pretty decent. I'll be talking each game in order of release of the collab, I mean, at least what the wiki says, bar a few exceptions though, and rank all the skins based solely on how good the quest is from the point of view of someone who has never played any of these games before. This isn't a ranking of the skins themselves. So, join me today as I go through and rank every single collab as of March 2026 that Forsaken has ever done in the order the wiki lists them, for the most part. Starting with Die of Death. This is the first collab that Forsaken ever did, then shake my hand, boy. Because for some reason, the DOD devs decided to be merciful on our souls and make a quest that is reasonable to complete. Okay, this isn't a perfect quest. Pretty much you need to get the glass house map and push all the slippery shapes into this thing. The physics are a little annoying and it doesn't really help us introduce us to the game. If someone is solely playing the game for the skin, they'll just probably AFK for the map and then not even really engage in the actual game because the gameplay for the badge has nothing to do with Die of Death. And the RNG topped off with the fact that there's a decent chance they might not be able to do it the first time around makes me put it in fear. Though I do not know what this had to do with Forsaken other than glass houses as a map in Forsaken. Sure, this wasn't the most positive review, but it's short and somewhat sweet, which does not go for most of the other things that Forsaken expects us to do. Brawler. I think this might be the most forgotten collab out of all of them. An older one from a really niche game and requirements that aren't that notable, which is a shame because this is probably one of the best games when it comes to the requirements. And saying that out loud is kind of sad because of how simple it is, but it still works. Basically, you need to win around with a Forsaken Sin. Sometimes they're not in the shop, but quite a few of them exist, so unless you were really unlucky, you should be fine. Also, you don't really have to wait in like the lobby for the shop to reset, it's just a daily thing. It does kind of suck, but all in all, it doesn't really add time to the requirement, it just kind of makes it annoying. I would say the worst part about this though is that there are not that many people playing the game, so finding a lobby of people you can beat is pretty difficult, but that's not really the game's fault, and you can just get an alt account. I'll give this requirement an A. It's reasonable, straightforward, and not that reliant on RNG to do. Also, this doesn't attribute to the actual ranking, but I do like the skin. He looks so clean, that fit. Flood Escape 2. Wow, 3 solid collabs in a row? Man, what went wrong with these things? Assuming the wiki lists them in chronological order. But yeah, this might be the best collab Forsaken has ever done. It has minimal RNG involved, it requires an easy map for the Shiletsky skin, and well, I can't really speak personally on the Crazy Blocks one because I already had the badge, which honestly really astounds me due to the fact that I didn't have the Shiletsky skin, and I don't recall ever playing Flood Escape on this account, but yeah, I got it, and after doing a certain badge for this video, I don't feel like trying it, but based on the video, it's reasonable. I mean, I literally did it by accident, so it's probably not that hard, and even if it is a pretty difficult map to do, this is one of the games that is easy to get carried, and on top of the fact that one extra skip is extremely fire, it's probably worth it. And it also has custom elements with Sky Chudletsky, it's pretty cool. I'll be putting both these skins in A tier. I wish all the collabs were like this requirement wise, but it doesn't really have much to do with Forsaken, unless the lore of Guide and Crazy Blocks is the same as Shed in 1x. And after doing a quick Google search, I don't think so, but I could be wrong. Great, now it's time to make the joke where I say, maybe collab skins aren't that bad. Then it immediately follows with a collab skin with rounded requirements. Man, I am so funny. The Battle Bricks. Well, yeah, I wasn't joking when I said that earlier. Though, technically I was joking because I was making a joke about how common the joke I previously mentioned was, and now I'm making a joke about the... doesn't matter. And yeah, what'd you expect? This collab is trash. Hey, do you want to complete the main campaign for a ripoff version of Battle Cats? Yeah? Well, I already made the opposite joke, so no. Listen, whether or not you're a fan of Battle Bricks or... I think we can all agree that this is just too much, man. Yes, the skin is very highly detailed, but it takes way too much grinding to complete the entire game. And at least everything that's been released so far. And forcing someone to complete the entire game isn't going to help them stick around because they'll just force themselves to play an entirety of the main campaign, so they probably won't have any side content because they're sick of it. Also, I may as well talk about Treadstone John Doe because why not? Also, I already did it. I don't really know what's going on with the skin. It might be in limbo because Twitter thread by the creator said that everything was done except for the chase theme. That was like 5 months ago. Granted, I am unsure how long composing a theme is, and it definitely varies, but I don't know. Watch it be added during the Jane Doe update. That's going to happen in 10 minutes if it doesn't get delayed again by the time I'm recording this. But anyways, yeah, some other requirements are even worse. You gotta complete the chapter 3 out of 4 on the hardest difficulty. Hey, whoever greenlit this, come here. Don't worry, I won't hurt you. I just want you to tell me why. This game took a total of 35 hours for me to do. 35 hours. Let that sink in. I spent a day and a half of my life, a tenth of the total time I've spent in Forsaken, trying to get a skin that I don't even know will come out, which is kind of on me, but if you can tell, if you cannot tell already, I am pretty autistic, so I have to. So yeah, I'm giving Murder a D and Treadstone an F. 2 more mode genuinely took 2/3 of my game time to finish the whole thing. Do I even dare ask what's next? Tower Defense Simulator. 4 skins were added as a part of this event. Starting from easiest and going to the hardest, we have Trapper Taff. Very simple. Complete the easy mode boss. Entirely possible solo with beginning towers and is a good intro to the game. I'll give it a B tier because it doesn't have much to do with the Trapper Tower, but still pretty solid. Next is the Crookbox Chance skin. You'll have to complete Fallen mode by getting to level 30, then queuing in quads to be carried or look up a guide. It takes a while to get to level 30, but it's not that hard to do the mode itself. D tier. Next up is DJ Veronica, where you have to complete Frost mode and you'll have to be level 60. Or someone knows a private server in this game, which has 100 Robux a month, I think, and subsequently have a team to help you do it. I'd like to put in perspective that I was around level 30-40 going into this, and it still took me several hours of in-game time to grind level 60. Finally, we have Narrator Noli. In order to get this skin, you need to be level 35, so if you were going for Crook Boss Chance or DJ Veronica, you should be fine. And by should, I don't mean you will have good enough towers and skills in order to beat this. I mean you should be able to reasonably be able to do this, and now that you've unlocked it, which you don't. This badge was made for late game players, and it shows because even those players found it really challenging. What was even the point of making this a collab? How many people playing Forsaken do you think are late game TDS players that either have every tower in the game and are able to follow the solo guide to perfection, or have 2 to 3 other friends who are also late game with every tower? Not very many. The only reason why I was able to do this is because a friend of mine was willing to help me do it, and somehow able to convince 2 other his friends to help me. Huge shout out to my friends Bubero, Godly Boy, and Cup, who were willing to help me out even though I threw the first round. Back to the point. This was abhorrent requirement. Simply, who even allowed this to happen? The easy mode would have been fine. No one was trying to tell you otherwise. So yeah, worst badge skin all Forsaken. The only saving grace is the skin is themed after requirements. Something that should be the first thing you consider when making a collaboration, but oh well. Also, I want to say I'm not biased against tower defense games. I know a lot of people don't like them, but trust me, I am not one of them. You would be disgusted to see my playtime on Tower Heroes. Yeah, I got RoPro after I found this game. This playtime is missing the first 86 levels I got. Oh yeah, also, Narrative Annuli was time limited, though I do find it worthwhile to mention the fact that the wiki says that they will be adding an alternative badge to get it, but I am not holding my breath because I couldn't find anything backing that up, because I didn't check. The funny thing is, even though it sucked, simply playing the base game reminded me how much I like Tower Defense Simulator, and I wanted to get back into the game. And then the devs changed every damn tower in the game, including my goat crook boss, which became a late game tower, which completely killed any chance of me wanting to continue playing. Rabbit's Takeover. This is a rare case of a collab staying on point when it comes to theming being an overall detriment to finishing the requirements. Basically, you need to wait until the cool carnival map is chosen in this game. Whoa, just like Forsaken. Then win as both a Robloxian and a rabbit in order to get both skins. It can be really annoying to do this in a public server. There are not that many maps in this game, but the round time makes it much longer than it should be. Also, you need to win, so if you lose, all that time is wasted, and if you want both, there's a 50% chance you'll be on the wrong team. You can, however, get a free private server and an alt, which is what I did, but it doesn't really help people stick to your game. I'm going to put both in C tier because I did the private server array and it wasn't that bad, but there's a fair chance it would be a D tier collab if there weren't the private server. Also, the badge icon makes no sense. This was added for the collab. Why are the icons of Two Time and Cool Kid? the skins for Elliot and Guest. Okay, so the wiki does not list the removed collab skins, so I'm just gonna go over them in a random order. Yes, technically Narrator Noli was limited time, but the other skins were already available, and I wanted to check out TDS all at the same time in the same segment. Funnily enough, these three limited time collabs were all removed for completely different reasons, which I will be seeing them as they come up. Doomed to Die. Oh boy, was this one a hassle to get. So, basically, two of my other friends who also like Forsaken asked me to help them get this, which I did. But unfortunately, I was not very into Forsaken when they asked me, and since you had to be a specific class to get this badge, I did not get it for after helping them because I was the medic. Then, when I started getting into Forsaken, my friends didn't want to play it anymore, so they wouldn't help me do it. And I spent a while trying to complete it with randoms, but I couldn't because they sucked. But then I decided to go back to it, but then they privated the game for a recode or something, so I had to wait an entire month until it came back. Which then I did with a different friend of mine, shout out to Skeleton the Third, and helped me do it first, and I promised to help him do it. And finally, before I could help him get it, they removed the skin. Because the devs did something that made the Doomed to Die guys a little upsetty spaghetti. Sorry, Alex. That's not even talking about the requirements. I mean, it shouldn't have been in hard mode, and being stuck to a specific character sucks, but honestly, it's a fun challenge that is unfortunately kind of reliant on teamwork. But you only need to beat Chapter 1. C tier feels a little too high, but D tier feels a little too harsh, so I'll stick to C tier because I personally am a fan of these kind of games. Also, the Wild Goose Chase that I went on to get it doesn't factor in my ranking because I'm pretty sure I'm the only one who went through that. Pizza game. I am so glad Forsaken collab with this game because I love it. Sure, it's a short game, but honestly, the style, gameplay, just most things about it are really fun. And so is the collab. Basically, you just need to beat the first mini boss. No obtuse puzzles, no walking simulator, no waiting, no relying on other people to carry you, no time limit. Just play decent but not unreasonable amount of the game and beat a mini boss. That's it. That's your breath of fresh air compared to most collabs. And sure, I may be biased because I like this game, but I like TDS, and that game had an awful collab. So yeah, nothing groundbreaking, but for the standards to collabs, I would say it's the best so far. Only slightly better than Flood Escape because there's no RNG involved whatsoever, but in return, it's difficult, but not unreasonably so. Also, the reason why it was removed as a badge is because the game became 18 plus, but for some reason I can still play it even though I never verified my age, so I don't know what's going on. Alright, 1 second. Yeah, so I just got the badge in my ult and I got it, so it's a shop skin too and a badge skin? I don't know. They say that it was removed because of the 18 plus thing, but it's not removed, so I mean, you can still get it as a badge. Lumion Legacy. Guys, they did it. For the first time ever, Forsaken had a collab that actually added new content to the game they were collabing with. I always thought they didn't have it in them, but hey, I'm not complaining that I was wrong. Basically, all you have to do is complete the first gym, which is basically a tutorial, and then you are allowed into event areas, where the Halloween event had a portal thing that takes you to the Noli map, and you fight Noi's Lumions, with the preset loadout. Thank the Lord! Once again, I am so happy this is a solo quest. It forces you to actually try, and it's a pretty fun challenge. Granted, I have played a few Halloween games, so I am unsure how difficult this would be with someone unfamiliar with the genre, but it's a lot easier than many other collabs Forsaken has done, as well as infinite tries, I mean, at least until the collab ended. So yeah, S tier. Too bad it was removed due to it being tied to the seasonal Halloween area, but I mean, it might come back next Halloween. Isle. And finally, the moment you have all, probably, been waiting for. Isle. Mostly due to the Sniper Chance skin, but first, let's go over why Isle just doesn't work as a game for collabs. Isle is a game where you're on an island, and everything is shrouded in mystery. As a survival game, Isle is incredible. It has so many secrets, hidden lore, collectibles, weapons, endings, and Stan. Every part of the game is seething with life and a subtle air of supernatural eeriness to it all. The map is so large, expansive, and breathtaking. But the thing is, this game relies on its obtuse puzzles. Puzzles that have pieces scattered throughout the entire map. A very nice looking map, but a very large one nonetheless. And unfortunately, having a collab paired with pre-existing badges gives everyone who wants the skins the wrong way to approach the game. You are supposed to explore, look at anything you want while slowly piecing together notebooks for endings. But when you narrow your horizons and focus on one thing, it makes the entire amazing open world map linear. You're no longer exploring, you're playing a walking simulator with, in my opinion, bad combat and painfully large map with no lore, because the guide you're following doesn't tell you to pick up the notes and look at the journals. It tells you to walk across the beach, then power the generator, then walk to the warehouse and grab these specific things and go to the lighthouse and stand still for the rest of the game day. Al is a great game. It may be an acquired taste, but it's still great. Unfortunately, the devs went about the wrong way to implement these badges. Starting with Gunner Guest 1337. You have to defeat the first wave of mercs by abusing their eye due to how cracked they are and how you don't stand a chance just winging it, which highlights the combat in this game, which I alluded to earlier is the weakest aspect for me. Basically, you use a weapon, then you click on an enemy, and the game says you are aiming at an enemy. Then you wait a few seconds, while drastically slowed down. Then the enemy gets close enough to cancel the gun being shot, and then you die. I don't know what you want me to say. When I'm using a weapon, I want to feel like I'm in control of said weapon, and when you aren't the one shooting it, it feels finicky and less satisfying to use. As well as not even knowing what you're shooting because it doesn't highlight what you were aimed at. And this game can get really dark. And guess what? Every badge you need requires you to utilize the combat system. Shoot me. Oh yeah, the shots can miss. Wowie zowie, I love this combat system! Anyways, yeah, it's boring and it takes way too long. D tier. Now for Ghost 2 time. Okay, so originally you had to beat the Elite Mercs, but they added an alternative, which kind of ticked me off because I could have done both in the same run, but I hear the Elite Mercs are really strong, so oh well. What I ended up doing was killing 100 frog spawn, IL equivalent of zombies, in one run, which requires even more walking and more combat that's more boring. Frog spawn are the inverse of the Mercs. Easy. Basically, the guide I followed brought me to some sort of bunker that spawned waves with them. I died several times because I didn't know that the entrance spawned more than one wave, and they ended up jumping me while I was fighting the waves that the guide said to farm the kills off of. Still D tier because in comparison, the F tiers didn't take as long, but probably more boring than most of the other F tiers. Now, it is time for Sniper Chance, the most recent collab skin as of writing the script, and the skin that single-handedly inspired me to make this video. What you have to do is use a sniper rifle to shoot a sniper merc with a sniper while he is aiming at you. So basically same stats as you did for Gunner Guess 1337 and maybe Ghost 2 time, but you don't have to beat all the mercs. Which makes sense when I tell you that, because you are specifically interacting with a sniper, of which his model is what the chance skin is based off of. So yeah, that's all hunky-dory, right? You've got the skin. Well, no, because for some reason he decided to add another requirement. But whatever, I can't find a guide for the badge, so I'll just wing it. Ooh, look, that's a global message from the developer saying something along the lines of, some people are worried about the Fortress badge. Don't worry, you got this. Well, if the devs don't think it's that bad, it should be fine, right? Then I see it. A 40-minute long video explaining how to get the badge in a beginner-friendly way that it requires 5 people to even do. Yep, it took someone 40 minutes to explain how to do this in a tutorial that speeds up parts of the game where you are just walking, and you need 4 other people to do it. Unlike with TDS, I don't know anyone who plays this game, let alone know lives who is to the point where they can complete this solo. So I don't know if it's true, but I also heard this is one of the hardest badges to get. Though after seeing Orbit 2, it is not very likely. And the only way I was able to do this was joining the Discord server. A YouTuber who made a guide joined a game night and carried anyone who joined. Shout out Rando on YouTube. And let me tell you, being AFK in the hangar for 40 minutes was so fun. Okay, that was a lie. I did collect as many healing items and weapons as hell out before we started because I didn't want to be dead weight, but I still waited like the entirety of the fight because I didn't want to mess anything up. Oh yeah, unrelated to the skin, but there is an ending tied to that. Only 4 people in the lobby can get because they need to send the airplane to get the ending, and there's only 4 seats. So if you're following the 5-player beginner guide just to get the ending, then one of your friends has to be left behind. Also, I hear some people are defending this by saying, this is a collab for island players. Hey guys, you know this badge you might have already gotten? Well, now you have a skin to use in a game that's of a completely different genre. But wowee, this isn't time limited, and there's no initial grind to even be qualified to get the badge, so you're only the second worst Forsaken Collab skin. Wow, what an accomplishment. Well, to summarize what question the title promised to answer, Forsaken is far too lenient when it comes to what is expected of people collab, and I think there should be some changes so cases like the Battle Bricks, Tower Defense Simulator, and Isle are not repeated. Have a maximum average time it should take to get the badge or something, because it just isn't fun to do these. Yeah, thanks for watching. Here's the list one more time so you can, like, I don't know, lick it with your eyes. Yep, if you made it this far, bye.